Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome to the Hero's Trek with me, your host, Samir. And before we get to the next book, we're going to review a book which I have a little bit of mixed feelings about as to whether I really enjoyed it or anything like that. I did enjoy it, I didn't love it. So this one is probably one of the first videos of a book that I didn't love. But before we get to that, please click the like button if it can help the channel out, or wait till the end of the video and then click the like button then too, if you like the video, of course. But also click the subscribe button, because that way you get notified or notifications whenever I post a new video, and I try to post them for you as frequently as I can. So because I have fun with it, I have fun, you have fun, we all have fun, and hopefully you have fun looking at this, watching this video. So where in the past I've reviewed books like Letter to Joe or Once and Future or even the Black Hammer Justice League team up, this one is firmly entrenched in the DC universe. The DC universe. It's firmly entrenched in the DC universe. It is an event book, as they say. It sets up stories, I'm sure, to come for a year down the pike, sets up everything so that, hey, how do we resolve these issues created with this event? And we're going to spend 1 year talking about it, and then finally putting all the puzzle pieces back together and everything's back to normal. So when a writer is doing this in comics, the deconstruction, right? The dreaded word deconstruction. What does that mean to you? For me, it means tearing everything apart, creating drama from the pieces that are torn apart, and then trying to sew it together as a writer into a tapestry again, in a different version of what may have existed before. So the book that we're talking about right now is by an author, by the way, that I really, really respect and admire, but I think that his older work was a little bit better than the more current work that he's read that right before reading this, and that still stands up. Such an amazing run, but that's another video. And Alex Maleev, by Michael Bendis Alex Maleev, proudly present Event Leviathan, a mystery thriller that will shape the DC universe to its core. It collects Event Leviathan 1-6 and Superman Leviathan Rising #1. So, first of all, they start, this is a standard size hardcover, retailing for $29.99. It's got a wraparound cover, which I think should have been brighter. I mean, it's just dark and murky. I don't know. The cover just doesn't really do it for me. It looks kind of dark and murky. But the book itself is fairly a little uneven, because the Superman Leviathan Rising special or one-shot was not only just focused on Superman, Clark Kent, and his dealings with Leviathan, but it was also used as a springboard for the Lois Lane series by Greg Rucka that followed it, and the Jimmy Olsen series, maxi series that came out with written by, I believe, Matt Fraction. So while it pushes the Leviathan story forward, all of a sudden you have these interludes, and of course the Lois Lane one, it ties in really carefully, or really well with it. But the Jimmy Olsen one just is jarring. It's just completely different in tone, different in character. Now I understand they want to launch these other series from this, and these event stories are usually geared towards new series coming out and being launched from the pages of this event. And also, people to buy the existing comics that are out there. But still, it's uneven because the artist changes from Yannick Paquette to these different artists, and it's jarring. It is jarring. The story does progress, but by the time you get to the main Event Leviathan #1, you're ready for the story to begin. There's also an interlude with Supergirl, which just tie in, but it's so blatant that here, for this thread, pick up my book. It's just, like I said, it just kind of is a little off-putting to see that. But, after collecting comics for so many years, I'm used to that, and I guess you are too. But when the event really begins, it's really well set up. I mean, one of my favorite characters, the Question, Vic Sage, the original Question. I like the new Question, Renee Montoya as well. Strangely enough, she's in here as well, but Bendis doesn't do anything. They have a perfect opportunity to bring the two Questions together. There are a lot of odd choices in here, and there are perhaps too many characters, some of which are just background filler that really don't do anything to move that story forward. And the dialogue, Bendis' dialogue. I think we've all gotten used to his work in Ultimate Spider-Man, awesome. His work on Daredevil, amazing. His work on Avengers, controversial, right? Avengers Disassembled comes to mind. But his dialogue has a very interesting staccato rhythm to it. You know, like how William Shatner is like, I just can't believe this. Well, Bendis is more like rapid fire dialogue. Two characters thought and word bubbles next to each other saying, hey, yes, no, what do you think? I don't know, what do you think? You know, that kind of stuff. There's a very typical Bendis rhythm to it. He excels when he breaks out of that. See, Daredevil didn't have that. You know, he steered clear of that. But lately I find his books sometimes fall into that. And that dialogue, that staccato rhythm, when it gets to be too much, it takes the reader out of the story. So that's the one complaint I do have about the book. The other is the artwork by Alex Maleev is in places, and in some places, amazing. I mean, just really, you know, if you liked his Daredevil work, you'll certainly like this as well. Trying to find one, you know, a nice cover that he did, which was really stuck to me in terms of my mind when I was reading this. You know, yeah, this one with Batman, just this 2-page spread, sorry, not cover, and it's just well done. It's just really well done. But the artwork is uneven. The artwork is uneven and sometimes, again, hyper detailed, and for fans of Alex Maleev, you won't be disappointed, except for a certain few panels. He does a great job. The coloring of the book, the colors are interesting. They're very poppy, for lack of a better word. Whereas if you compare to like the Daredevil run that Alex Maleev did, it was more muted. The character, of course, is a darker character. And this, the colors vary and kind of change, and it's more, I don't know, bright or just kind of in your face, so to speak. I love the character work by Bendis on Plastic Man, the references to All-Star Squadron, the historical aspect of it. The basic gist of the story is that every single one of the secret spy organizations in the DC universe have all been destroyed by Leviathan, this new character who's actually not a new character, but is an old character that hasn't been dusted off in a while. I'm not going to spoil it, who that is. But the DEO, Argus, you know, Spiral, you know, Cobra, the original Leviathan, which was Talia al Ghul, of course, who was the head of that, played a big part in Batman Incorporated, Grant Morrison's run. All of those organizations have been taken down, and their members have basically joined this guy, this new character Leviathan, new old character Leviathan. And now it's up to the heroes and Lois Lane, who brings together a team of detectives, two teams of detectives, one focusing on the magical side and so on, and one focusing like a Batman and Green Arrow, what the back cover's blurb said. And this is how they work through the red herrings. And basically the story is you know, here we go, let's get together, let's have some snappy banter, let's get through the red herrings, let's prove that the red herring is false, and so on. And I felt a lot of times that the characters were just being led along. It was almost like puzzle pieces fitting together, and I couldn't quite get into the book as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to love the book. You know, every time I open up a Bendis book, I loved his Young Justice take, even his Superman, you know, Action Comics run, which I think is far better than the Superman itself, the main book. But it just, the story, you know, I read it through twice just for this video. The story just didn't click 100% with me. It's not bad. I don't think it's one that you'll wind up reading over and over again. But if you want a decent mystery thriller with characters that sometimes act out of character because of the dialogue and the rhythm of the dialogue, and sometimes uneven artwork, I'm trying to find that one page where, you know, it was just really not. Of course, I won't be able to find it now that I'm looking for it here. Here it is. So this particular one here. Again, the artwork is rushed in that scene, but you know, it is what it is, and it snaps back to really excellent Alex Maleev artwork later on. But again, you can't figure out who it is. The mystery is solid. It's not like, you know, you go through issue 1. The worst thing is in these mysteries when you go through the first issue and you say, oh, I figured out who it is, and there you go. Really, you know, Bendis does a great job with the mystery around it. It's just the flow of it and uneven artwork sometimes that detracts from the story slightly. So worth a read. I don't know if something that you want to read over and over again, but certainly worth reading to see how it sets up the next year's worth of DC Universe stories and how Bendis will follow through on Leviathan and to really see what the long-term impact of these organizations falling apart or being taken down are really about, what's going to happen. So, long story short, it's a semi thumbs up, leaning towards a thumbs up, not a thumbs down for sure. Uneven artwork sometimes, uneven dialogue and storytelling with characters that you feel maybe the dialogue doesn't match the character exactly, and a use of characters that you just want to see more of that are highly underutilized. I mean, I understand the focus on Superman and Batman and of course Lois Lane, but it'd be nice to see the focus on some of the other characters like The Question. There's a good focus on Plastic Man for all you Plas fans out there. Plastic Man has a great important role, and he's actually really funny. So there are more pluses than minuses. Worth a read. Not sure if it's worth 2 reads, but definitely worth a read. That's Event Leviathan, and that's by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev for the most part. Pick it up if you want some, good superhero storytelling. Well, that's it for this episode of Hero Strike. If you want, please click the like button because that helps a lot, and of course subscribe so that next time I film another video, you get notified. And I know it can be annoying with those notifications, but it'll lead you to some wonderful world of comics. I'm Samir, your host from Hero Strike, and I'll see you real soon. Please take care of yourselves.